And we're back with another episode of Let's Play Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. I'm your host, the RPG Guy, and we have this delicious, kind of maybe, we'll see, this delicious Ribbsan Z530 sports car. That's why I call it delicious, because why not? And, as per usual, we're going to get this bad boy fixed up. Pretty much a full restore. I believe it's got an engine that we've not really seen before, so we'll be messing and fiddling around with some of that for what it's worth. Let's go ahead and get this guy cleaned up. Because before we can do anything, we may as well invest in what it takes to make it look nice. So very nice, so full of spice. And half of you are like, I can't believe you just said that. I'm having nightmares. Oh, yeah, I would be too. Especially if you guys heard me say that. Alright, let's go ahead and put this and this into position. And it's done. And it's done. Sweet. Alright, all that's cleaned up. Let's do the interior. Because we can't repair these guys, so... At least I'm pretty sure we can't. Let's go to interiors, steering wheel 16. Let's do these guys. Alright, and it pretty much needs new everything when it comes to the body here, so there's no real way around that. The only thing that was really left behind were glass, and we can't do anything about the glass, so let's see here. We've got front bumper, hood, the lights, the bumper, the lights more, and the trunk. So everything but the bumpers, hood, trunk, and lights. So let's go into here. So we need the doors, the fenders, the windows, the side windows, or mirrors rather, side mirrors. We have a trunk, and then the glass and windshield for that. Let's see if we can put this relatively back together and have it somehow make sense. That on. Let's see what I overbought somehow. Do I not have the trunk window? Is it glitching out? Okay, somehow it was. Glitching may not be the appropriate word, but it was acting up in a weird way, that's for sure. There's something, and maybe I got out of assembly mode, but yet it still was showing the window. Everything except the plates. Now for plates, why don't we do... Let's see... We'll do New York. And now, the reason I say that is this. For New Yorkers that own, like, really high-performance sports cars, I didn't say luxury, I said sports cars. Cars that are meant to go real fast. Yeah, you guys are fucking losers. If you own a super fast car, and you live in New York City, New York, because you're not going anywhere very fast. And if you are, you're driving like a fucking asshole and putting everybody you know on the road at risk. Because you're driving like a fucking giant asshole. Just calling it how it needs to be called, you know? But people in LA do. Yeah, because it takes fucking 30 minutes to walk to a fucking store if you had to walk. And some of us just don't fucking have that kind of time. Whereas you can get to any kind of corner grocery store in New York in like 10 minutes. And I know because I've been there. Just anybody who's like, it doesn't take that long, then you're not doing it right. You're not New Yorking right. Okay? Just telling you. I even got a student who goes to NYU who I told him how to fucking navigate New York and he's not had a problem. So get wrecked. And then you usually like the people from New York that say they don't have the means to do something for X reason. Normally it's because they probably don't want to go into a certain type of store because they have a beef with probably the owner or some shit. You'd be surprised how often weird shit like that comes up in discussion. It's like, but there is a store within walking distance, is there not? Well, it's not a store I can go to. Well, that's your problem. Move. What do you want me to tell you? It's definitely trickier than that. It's just something I like to make fun of. You know, it's the reason I had the option to live in New York, and I strongly chose against it. Sports tires, 225, 45, 18. And that's one of the reasons why. 225, 45. 225, 45, 18. We need 4 of these bad boys. But yeah, I mean, New York's a great place to live in its own respect. I don't know if I would talk about how it is right now, but it has been a good, pretty decent place to live. You just have to figure out the mechanics of it. And like anything, it's a very different city than what anything you could ever expect it to be. So, but now I don't know. I don't know. Post Coof is gonna be the Wild West probably over there right now. But I remember when New York was a place you wanted to visit. It wasn't even that long ago. It was when I was there. It was pre 9/11, so I can make a comment to that, you know. And I've been there post 9/11 too. Remember when New Yorkers were like all in it together, very wholesome, you know, kind of, you know, beliefs and structure going on. It's not that way much anymore, but why it's not that way, I'd be reluctant to be able to tell you. Well, I mean, I can speculate, and I'm not going to do that in this video. I know why it's not that way, but, you know, it's complicated. Something that me talking about it in a Let's Play video is not going to do it justice. We need 4 of these. But do I recommend visiting New York? When things get better over there, definitely. I wouldn't do it now. But definitely in the future, check it out. It's a really cool place. We don't know what's in the front yet. Alright, so this is going to be... And this is also 8. Until we figure out what's going on up front. I think I already did 2 of those, but maybe not. We know that we could save the spring caps to a degree. Can't save these guys. A lot of rust on this one. Rusted screws. That's going to be a process to take out here. And see, just putting New York plates brings up controversy to a degree. Oh, we love it. Look at that. So it just goes to show you the extent of things the way they are right now. I live in California, and things aren't that great here right now either. So I understand where a lot of that sympathy and outrage equally comes from. The difference is that being a person who lives in California but not in Los Angeles, though I do live in LA County, I can tell you that a lot of people in LA County are getting fucking fed up with it, and they're looking at ways to get out of the county and be their own group, and I support them. in that endeavor, and they're going to win those votes by a landslide if it comes to that. So, and I know that the county is disturbed by this. The people in the county, rather, because if they break up into their own counties, if LA County breaks up into their own counties, they're going to lose a ton of county revenue. That most of that revenue is now being discovered that is being spent on the city of LA on its own, more so than it's being spent in the surrounding cities that are all part of LA County. Because LA County is one of the biggest counties in the country, and a lot of people forget that. You know, so think about it. It's just people get fed up, man. They say don't piss where you eat, you know. Don't shit where you sleep. Same deal. Heard that term used far too much and far too often, and I would say now it applies here more than ever. You know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we'll get off that subject because there's nothing good that comes from complaining about it right now. Especially in a stream like so. And hey, let me throw this out to you guys. If you're European and you're trying to make sense of what's going on over here, don't do it, especially if you've never been here. And I mean, when I say never been here, I mean have lived here. Visiting doesn't count. Just like visiting Japan is not the equivalent of living there, I assure you. But there's a lot of people that like to chime in thinking things work the same way they do over there, and they just don't. I remember when Europeans had good arguments like, why don't you do the things the way we do, and blah, 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 blah. And then the good part of the argument they would actually explain, but now they just say, why don't you just do things the way we do it over here? And there's a reason we don't do things the way we do it over here. And it's usually because a lot of Europeans don't deal with the same things that non-European that Americans do. Even Canadians have actually come to understand it better over the years, which is kind of interesting. I find to be funny. I have a friend of mine who's Canadian. We talk about 5-6 times a year. And he's one of those Canadian people that tells other Canadian people, shut the hell up. If you don't know what it's like to be hit by a tornado, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you've never been hit by one or known someone whose life was ruined by one. Why do you live near where tornadoes are? Well, then tell 90% of the country to move. Oh, that's not really true, 90%. But the problem is America has mostly natural disasters. They live in areas where natural disasters are commonplace, so... I mean, you telling them to move is ridiculous. Or rather, not a well thought out context. This concept of ideas. 2, 4... Right? Undo that. Did I get the sway bar? Why do I feel like I did not get the sway bar? I did. I got index. Okay. I know I did it a little out of order that I normally was doing it earlier for those of you pondering. Which was that I would take the brakes and do the brakes and tires at the same time, but oh well. I guess at the end of the day, it's the same amount of time pretty much, because I gotta walk by the fucking brake thing anyway. Let's separate these parts here. Let's see how many of these we can fix. So many parts to fix. However, if we noticed the car was missing parts, so there's going to be a handful of parts we're going to have to buy on top of what we already got to buy. Almost there. Yes, I have a new keyboard for anybody asking about the noise coming out of the keyboard. I can't do much about that. I did want a nice keyboard, though, and I think I earned it. I had a 15-plus-year-old G15 that just was falling apart. It needed to be replaced. I had it, I replaced it with a similar gaming keyboard. They make them louder now. And yeah, I could have gotten softer switches, but I like the noise of it. Strangely enough, it helps with my reaction because I can hear me pressing the button down. It's like a kind of It's kind of like a more certain feeling that, hey, I pressed that button down. How do I know? I actually heard it. It's helping with my reaction time, I think, a little bit. Though I feel a little lethargic today, and that's because I had a really big breakfast that I shouldn't have had. It was so big and delicious. I think I just bought 2 of those, by the way. It's not in this section. 2 of those. 2 of those. I feel like I bought something else I wasn't supposed to buy. Oh well. It'd be what it'd be. You know what? Yeah, I did buy 2 tanks. Gosh darn it. Like I said, we're not hurting for cash, so I don't think the extra expense of a single fuel tank is going to be a big deal. There we go. Both of those look good. Both of those are bad. Let's check the back, shall we? Both of those are bad. Both of those are bad. I think, oh no, yeah, one of those is bad. Oh god, we have no calipers. Only one good cylinder. Okay. Now, we did not luck out at all in some of these parts. Which happens, you know, you just have to deal with it. There we go. Okay, both caps got repaired, so that's good. That assembled. Has to do with that. And it's good. It's looking good. Sweet. Getting it all in there. Alright, got that going. Okie dokie. So I know we have everything else for the undercarriage. Did we get everything back there? Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's one of those weird A-type shocks that you don't need an upper arm for. Always throws me. It's been throwing me off. We've been doing a lot of the cars that mostly their undercarriage is relatively the same as you would see anywhere else, but now they're a little different. Definitely starting to be different. Lots of fuses. I don't know if we need the radiator. Definitely need that. Okay, that's that could be repaired. I believe those will be A clips. We'll get the fuses going. I know for a fact if we just go to we get both pieces that we need. I think that's about everything, give or take. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Alright, let's get the engine on out of there. Make our life a little easier. Before we even dare start touching it. And we'll start almost with that. Alright, start with that. Excuse me. This engine's missing a lot of stuff. And it's a pretty complicated little bastard, so we're gonna have to deal with that too. Probably be this, that. Yep. let's get to it. Well, that's good that those got fixed. Don't really care about the camshafts. We're going to have to probably buy new ones anyway. But some of these parts may not be usable in the upgraded format, so we'll have to see. At least we were able to fix the engine block. Okay, everything else we just kind of gotta buy. Okay, hold on. In here. Rocker arms. Did I hit that 4? Okay, whatever. Intake manifold. Intake's not in there. Spark plugs. Rod caps won't be there. Those are there. So strangely enough, those are not in there. They say rocker arm B. You know what? We need to make sure of some stuff, don't we? Yeah, we're gonna start putting some stuff back together here before we start buying that part, because I want to double check something. But did I not buy those? I did not. We're gonna double check before we come back to that. This beast on there. This is rocker arm, but there it says camshaft B. Look at that one says rocker arm. Okay, so there's a difference here. Hold on. These are not the same thing. Let's get this set up over here and see exactly what we need. Cheeky fuckers thought they could trick me. This is going to be A, isn't it? Okay, so there's an A. Okay, 2 rocker arm Bs and a camshaft B, and the intake manifold is still the same. So, camshaft B and A are not here. Intake manifold, not here. Rocker arm B, not here. Okay, none of this is in the tuning shop. So, we need 2 of the rocker arms. We need the intake manifold and 1 of each of these. That's where they get you. So they didn't want to probably have to design the high performance variant. So this is how they get around it. Pretty sure those are not going to be over here. Yeah. Fuel rails might be. And they are. Alright. Throttle's going to be there. And there's 2 throttles. Eight of those. The water pump. Get these guys in. A little bit more complicated of an engine, just because it's got a lot of awkward parts, really. I mean, it's technically, I would argue, it's easier to assemble, but yeah, getting all the parts sorted up between the high-end tier parts and the regular parts is a little trickier, because there's just so many more regular parts that normally we would just upgrade with the higher tier stuff, but this car doesn't seem to have it. So this car's taking a little longer than I thought it would. In case I didn't grab that. There's still nothing to go on the front of the car. Oh wait, I see it now. I'm feeling we're gonna need ignition coils here. Ooh, let's wait till we know for sure. Okay, just straight up regular ones. It's like the chain is hiding behind the gear. Once we get this in, though, everything else should be pretty much in the front of the car. It makes sense that it's going to need those. Oh my lord. So many screws. I highly doubt that those would be in here. Yeah, they're not. It's a V8 filter, even though it's not a V8 engine. Of course it is. Alright, the goofy engine is done. A lot of work went into that one, that's for sure. That in, that in. I want to do the fuse box last. Okay. If anybody works on cars, why are there empty fuse slots, or are there supposed to be? Or perhaps you can put up backup slots in case there's an outage or something. Let me know what's up with that. Anybody who knows anything about automotive repair with electrical. Why would you have empty fuse slots? Or do they make only universal boxes and then that's why they're that way? Or I just got to know. I just got to. Slowly getting this guy back up and running. We still got to attach the gearbox too, mind you. And the drive shaft, which I don't know if the drive shaft got fixed. One of many things we don't know. And one thing I wanted, I don't know if somebody pointed this out to me before. I don't think so at the time of making this. But those of you that are thinking if this is all there is really to car repair, it's much more complicated than that. Number one, there's a lack of hoses you've noticed, and lines of tubing and everything that goes to all these different ports and vents and the engine itself and stuff. They've still not really completely mastered the art of the automobile repair until they've got the hoses that you've got to connect in there and everything else. They're getting there though. This is definitely most of the way there. There's a few things and tasks they've not appropriately allowed the players to interact with. Still, it's 99.9% mechanical. I mean, and then if you really want to get into the craziness of it, you also have you have the other elements of it too, like electrical throughout the car and all that crap. I didn't think we repaired that. Alright. Let's go ahead and move it to the test path so we can align the tires and everything else. There we go. Also tell I haven't played in a while either. Been really busy. Holidays and all that when this was being made. Can't tell how fast it's going to go till it's painted. Clearly this will be a fiberglass vehicle. Looks like something's wrong with the bumper. Did we not replace? I don't think we replaced the bumper. But we're gonna have to do that. Let's go with this color for now. And we'll, before we do that, we gotta fix the bumper, don't we? What's wrong? Did we not put a new bumper on? Yes, we did not. That would have been weird to repaint a bad bumper. Okay. I think we were paying attention and noticed that. So it would have been so easy to miss that. Let's go back to car list A. And let's make sure everything is in there. There's the wheel on my mouse instead. Looks good. Let's go to the speed path. No, we ain't gonna get very far in that Nissan. Being the way it is. You know what we didn't do is we didn't do the dyno. We'll have to do that. We'll do that after we do this. Taking a while for it to get up to speed. Oh! That's the problem with the speed track. There's not really a way to test it. because we just can't seem to get it up to the top speed without hitting a wall. I mean, I'm going to try again, but... Oh! Yeah, so we got a little faster there at 291, but I don't know how we can possibly test the top speed of this thing if we don't have more tracks. So, again, that's something that the developers need to solve. Because if you guys, well, you could turn, yeah, but then you'd lose half your speed turning, and that's if you do the perfect turn. I don't even think it's that easy, to be honest with you. All right, let's go ahead and take it to the dyno before I forget. 314 horsepower, 386 pneumatic pressure, or whatever that's supposed to be. Whoa. No, 63%, 60% average benefit on the gain loss, so that's interesting. Let's go back to parking. Okie dokie. Well, it's easily worth over 100 grand. Now we do have roughly 30 grand in performance parts, so that'll do it. But it cancels itself out if you take out the condition bonus, because now it's in pristine condition. So it's still a pretty good payout at 9 grand to buying price, but the selling value being so high on this type of car is pretty darn good. So we will send that to parking. Probably one of the more interesting sports cars we've had, though it takes a while for it to get up to speed. Clearly, it can go pretty darn fast. And then, yeah, when we come back, guys, look at this. We have one of our first DLC cars that is from one of the name companies, Nissan. The Nissan Silva S15? So we'll have that coming up next time. But I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ActArtsVideos for live gaming action, as well as the live action streaming I do here on YouTube. But if you want to make sure you don't miss any streams, you got to check out the Twitch channel, because YouTube does not appreciate the streaming of certain games. Just going to tell you that right now. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.